Alright, so Inktober has long been over, and I'm sure it's even more over by the time I post this video. A lot of stuff happens in October. Preptober for NaNoWriMo, Monthstober, a mix of other Creatobers, and of course, Inktober. Every now and then I try to participate in one of these monthly events because it's a fun challenge. And because so many people are doing it, it brings a nice sense of community. But this October, like most if I'm being honest, did not go as planned. Which sucks because that seems to be the story of my life these days. Starting to think I may be the problem. But anyway, I decided to do 2 drawings a week, which honestly isn't hard for me to do anymore. For the most part, I was capable of finishing multiple drawings in like a day or 2. And yet, before the month even started, I used a randomizer to pick the characters I would draw each week. Initially, I started out good. I drew Wonder Woman and Ghost Spider, to the best of my ability at least. It wasn't like my other fan art Fridays where I had time to warm up with my character, but I settled with what I had so I could move on. Next was Harley Quinn and Spider-Man, Miles Morales. As you can see, there is no Miles. Halfway through their week I got busy with work, like my real life job, the one that pays me. It was a 3-day long event that brought in tons of customers back to back, required a lot of energy, yelling, and smiling at people that were way more excited to be there than I was. I mean, happy to make people happy, but I was drained. And even worse than that, I got sick. The kind of sick where sleep is the only escape, but you can't sleep because you're too sick. Sorta just laid down all day, hoping medicine, rest, and nutrition would make the sickness go away faster, but it sorta stayed. Now, I was able to muscle through 3 more drawings in the name of the new FNAF movie, but they weren't a part of my original list of characters. I was able to draw them though in like 2 days, but of course, I didn't record the process for the sake of speed, and because I didn't really have the energy to turn the camera on and set it up. My job even had a FNAF themed party, which is why I decided to make the drawings in the first place. With creativity being my entire personality, it'd be a missed opportunity not to do something. I thought they turned out pretty good for someone who never really interacted with FNAF before. It was a nice experience that led to an artistic realization. Amidst the endless consumption of Markiplier, I was able to draw characters I had never drawn before, with an accuracy greater than when I drew other characters I haven't drawn before. Just the week before, I drew 3 comic characters that I've at least seen a lot more than the FNAF characters, but I can honestly say they don't look as well put together as the FNAF drawings. On top of that, I don't really have experience with drawing robots or animals. Definitely not animal-themed robots. But I found it a lot easier to draw them, and I'll tell you why. But first, a word from our sponsor, Skillshare. You see, the answer is shapes. Simple, defined, and consistent shapes. I cheated. I didn't want to take the time to break down all the forms and junk for one drawing. I didn't want to study how to build a glam rock Freddy from scratch, and I didn't have to. While form did influence the structure of the drawings, it was shape that built the final result. All simple shapes too, mostly rounded rectangles. But the same couldn't be said for the comic characters, who have many more design styles and looks. While their designs are also sorta simple, finding the shapes that define them were not as simple. And I'm not saying my drawings are far from the idea of these characters, just that they don't capture their true essence. Or maybe I'm just being too critical. There are some aspects of these drawings that I'm proud of because they are points of improvement. In each one I tried to incorporate a background of some kind, slowly building that skill so that making comics is easier. On each drawing I struggled with the hands, which of course I did. I'm also learning to add details with my final pencils so that eventually my red pencils will be simpler. Everything I do now is a learning session of some sort. I try to take my time to understand what I'm doing rather than blindly repeating habits. I'm at a transitioning phase with my art right now, trying to figure out how I want to draw things, and in many cases I find that my drawings don't look like what I want to make. Just imitations of what I thought I was trying to make, but not actually me. I've been trying to imitate the pros, the ones I like, in order to learn how to draw things as they do. But that doesn't mean I want to draw in their style. They draw well and I want to draw well, so I try to draw like them and use the techniques they use. Try to understand why and when they do certain things. But if I don't want to limit myself, then I also need to discover my own ways of applying these techniques. That's where I'm at. And also I have a tablet now. The university I went to ended up permanently shutting down, and they gave away a bunch of their tech. Was thinking about making a video about the whole experience, but there are so many art school videos I just don't see it as a priority yet. In the future, I'm planning on combining my traditional and digital workflow. I feel I do certain things better traditionally, like sketching and inking, but I'll probably do concept art digitally for the speed and convenience. It has also not escaped my attention that this year is coming to an end. Feels like just yesterday I made a self-portrait and talked about my plans. Once again meeting with unexpected complications and falling short of a few things. I'm fine with this, for now. Of course I'd like to be able to do what I say. But I know I aim high so that if I miss I still make progress, which I have. My goals are clear, my ego is tamed. Perfection will not hold me back. I will not let endless studies be my demise. I will go from the guy learning to make art to the guy that makes art. From the man that's learning to make comics to the man that makes comics. From the dude with a YouTube channel to that same dude with a slightly better YouTube channel. But before I turn into that dude forever, I hope this video was helpful to at least one of you out there. If not, let us know in the comments what we could do better. And if you know of other ways we can level up our art skills, let us know that as well. And while you're down there, I would love it if you would subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can see what I do next. But until we meet again, I would just like to say, welcome to Edenwick.